Hey Hebrew fans, this is Todd. We'll see if it works today or not. So if you guys hear some weird echoing, let me know right away. Hopefully it will all come out okay. I'm not sure why it hasn't started yet on my iPad. Still says waiting for me. Load, launch. Give me a moment to find out why this is not launching. There it goes. Wow, that is really blurry. That's not a good sign. It's not updating on my phone when I move my iPad. There we go. Okay, cool. That's not a good sign. It's not. All right, so Mike, glad you're here. Do you hear any echoing before we get started? Before we launch into this epic Skeletor discussion? I have that guy. I do too, man. Anyway, let me go set him aside. And let's start like we did yesterday. Starting with the very first Skeletor we got. Here he is. Now, of course, our first figures we got, like I mentioned yesterday, was we first got our King Grayskull, and then we got He-Man and hold on a sec, my camera is just not wanting to angle correctly. There we go. And then we got He-Man and Beast-Man, and then later on we got Skeletor as our third release, actually fourth technically. Cool, Mike. Thanks, I appreciate that. And so what's cool about the Skeletor when we first got him is he doesn't look like the Skeletor we got in the 80s. You can see here's the 80s one. Now I added the cape. It's a custom piece. But in the 80s, we got this strange looking double finned arm with one fin on each side. And on this one, it looks more like rubber gloves with two fins on it. And then for the legs, we got these furry kind of feet for the legs. Some were painted with the half paint and some had a full boot on the bottom. And here we got these cuffs on the legs that only cover the front and some blue bare feet. So it's like, wait a minute, Four Horsemen, what's going on here? Why'd you give us a guy that doesn't look at all like the 80s figure? There must be some reason or something behind it. And sure enough, there is. This is my top 6 baddies for the evil masters of the universe. And you can see, looking at the Skeletor, this used to be on the back of the card art for the 8-back and the 12-back of the original figure line. And you can see that he looks like the toy we got. So the Four Horsemen decided to go back to the original design and give us the figures we saw on the back of the package when we were kids, which I think is like really cool. So we didn't get the same figure we got as kids. We got what we thought we were getting if you bought a different figure and looked at the back of the card art, which is actually a pretty cool idea. So we actually got the Skeletor on the card art. We also got the Merman on the card art too, which was really cool. So there were some really cool things that the Four Horsemen did for us. And of course, Mattel let them do it. So it was like, yes. So awesome, awesome, awesome indeed. All right, let me go and stand up these Skeletors against the wall there. You guys stay there. And let's take a look at some other Skeletors that I have gotten over the years. Hey, Jamie, thanks for joining us. All right. So we also got this Skeletor from a 2-pack, this one right here. And this Skeletor came with a Lex Luthor. And so you got Lex Luthor and Skeletor 2-pack. And what's fun about this one is he had some metallic look to him, and he had this really yellow skull face. Yellow skull face. And he came with a yellow sword to boot too. For some reason, He-Man didn't come with a sword in the 2-pack, because in the original DC Comics, he didn't have a sword. He had more of a battle axe type situation going on. So it was a little bit different. But Skeletor had the sword of all people. So there we go. Stand, Skeletor, stand. And then we did get another Skeletor 2-pack. Let's see if I have one here in the package or in the box. I actually have them in a different box, and that is the one that came with Ular, not Ular, that came with now I'm forgetting his name, with Molar, and he was basically a Skeletor that was missing a tooth. And it was kind of a funny, I can't find one. That's crazy. I thought for sure I had some. Let's take a look. Okay, is it working now? Let me know if you got an echo or something else. Let me know. I don't know what's going on with my internet. I don't know. It's probably my phone. So yes, it's working, or yes, it's lagging. It's working. Cool. All right. So, and when they gave us this cool battle armor Skeletor, basically you had to bust off his armor in order to change it. And when you would change it, you would just literally pop out the little pieces here and put in the different armor pieces that were different damages. Now, what's crazy is when they first gave us a figure like this, I believe the first one was Hordak. He came out like in June of the first year of figures were released. And they gave us a smooth ab bottom, which was supposed to represent his armor. So it's not that he's wearing a purple t-shirt, it's that it's part of his armor. And they gave us these half armors, and they did kind of a cool job of trying to disguise them by putting like a line of some sort right here, so it looked like it was still part of his armor underneath there, but that way he didn't lose the ab crunch. I would have rather prefer the armor just to go all the way down and just lose the ab crunch when he's wearing his armor, but they wanted to continue keeping that armor. So that is why we got the crazy half shirts on all the figures. All right, so as you can see, I have amassed a bunch of figures, and I've put some in different armors, everything else, but they are very similar, a lot of them. I don't even know. Oh, this one's a cool one. I'll hold that one off for later. And oh, I got two of those. No way. What the? Oh, I know why it's different. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm jumping to this. I'm just going to fast forward to one of our cool figures we got. So we end up getting this figure that has a dragon that blows fire on his back. Now, this is not the head he came with. I had to make my own custom head for it. The mouth actually opens. And I even made a little fire wad that shoots out of his mouth. So you can actually blast people. You know, because that makes more sense to actually be able to shoot fire from your dragon on your back. But what was cool about this figure is not only did we get this cool looking Skeletor, he actually matched the 80s figure. We got the arms that looked like the same kind of arms, or very similar to it. And we got the fuzzy bottoms on his boots to kind of match the way that looked from the 80s. So this one, they went back to the 80s. Now, the one bad thing they did, which just annoyed me to no end, for some reason, they decided to cast it all in black and then paint it. Now, I happen to have one here that's been cast in black. I believe this one's been changed out, so it's actually an actual plastic body. But what would happen is you could see right here, any scratches or any dings or anything else on the figure, and you have black plastic underneath. And it just looks awful. And if you look at the very top of the figure in the joint, you can see kind of a weird graying kind of look inside the joints. And that's because they cast them all in black plastic and painted it, thinking it would look better and we'd like it better. But no, Mattel, we did not like the black plastic, or we used to call it the blastic figures, because it just looked awful. But it was cool to put regular Skeletor armor on them. And then later on, Super 7 gave us a black, instead of black plastic, they gave us a blue plastic like it's supposed to be, with the exact same figure. And it was one of the essentials that they came out with. I think it was called, was it Essentials? Or was it, I forgot what they called them. Super 7 had a name for them, for their special release. This was actually a Super 7 figure using the Mattel molds. And you can tell because he doesn't have the plastic going on, where if his paint gets scratched at all, you have a giant black scratch. And I think I replaced him Did I? You know what? I did not. I was wrong. Look, there's a black scratch right there. No! So, crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, let's stand these up here. Stand up, Skeletor. And it's funny too, because something's just so slightly different. Like this is actually I believe this is actually one of the bodies from the Molar 2-pack, and I just swapped out the head and gave him the sword from the Lex Luthor 2-pack. So you can tell because the armor has the dot is different, and it doesn't have the shiny armor. All right, let's see what else we got here. Here we have probably another Super 7 version of him. You can see it's all painted nice and blue. Let's take a look. Any black plastic coming off on here? And you can tell this is the real Super 7 one because the armor dot's a different color too. See, it's a brighter pink. So that one actually has the correct armor. And what is this one? Oh, here we go. We got this really cool head that was reminiscent of the old comics. And I believe this head came with Demo Man. I think that's why I ended up buying that particular figure a long time ago, was just to get that cool head from the original comic look. And that's kind of a cool deal. And this is probably also a Molar 2-pack figure. A little bit shinier than the regular release. Shiny. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. Hey, Ronald, thanks for joining us. All right, let's take a look here. And then they gave us this guy here, Halter Top Skeletor. I'm Halter Top Skeletor. And he came with these big old claws of power. Claws of power. Now, what's strange about this particular Skeletor is, where's the other claw of power? I can't find his spare claw of power, but they made him in a darker blue. So I took and grabbed a regular Skeletor, and I swapped out some of the parts. And I didn't swap out the loincloth, but I did swap out the boots and the head to give it the blue instead of the purple, and then stuck on the claws on him. This way he's the right skin tone instead of being suntan Skeletor. I'm suntan Skeletor. That's why he's a halter top. He's been hanging out at the beach. Huh, beach surfing Skeletor. And I think I might have added a small black wash in his teeth as well, because I just didn't like all the yellow they used in his mouth. So you can see the little bit of black paint I stuck in there, just to give it a little bit of wash to make his teeth kind of pop a little bit. Because all the rest of them have the black wash in one way or another. All of them do. And I don't know why they... Of course, he has some green teeth back there. Green teeth Skeletor. All right. So, that is Halter Top Skeletor. Beach Halter Top Skeletor. And then we got Laser Light Skeletor. I think that's what he called him. And he came in a 2-pack with a He-Man figure. And this was kind of a fun one because he actually lit up. You can barely see that light lighting up on him. He's kind of running out of battery power. Kind of reminds me of Danny, what is his name? He's Power Man's sidekick. Oh, come on, Luke Cage's sidekick. What is his name? He has the light up power. Hoyo! Someone's gonna tell me his name here in a minute. He has a dragon tattoo on him. Somebody help me! I can't think of his name. Jeff is having trouble finding the video, Todd. I sent him the link. Hopefully he joins. Nobody's really chatting. We got 15 watchers. Yeah, that happens. Oh, what is Power Man's sidekick's name? Oh, not his sidekick. They're partners. Ugh, stand. I can't stand. Yeah, it was crazy. This particular figure, all the feet got kind of rounded on them. I don't know what happened there. But what's crazy about these figures is these ones actually remind me a lot of our New Adventures. Do I have a New Adventure Skeletor in here? I do. So here is the New Adventure Skeletor. I'm New Adventure Skeletor. And for some reason, they gave him really fat armor again. Now, it's not the armor at all. It's to actually be his skin. And so you can see that when you go to put his hands down, he's got like this big old fatty thing going on here. And to solve the problem, they just glued it on. Instead of actually getting rid of these tabs and closing it in tighter, they just actually glued it on. Now, we've seen other figures that have like a rubber overlay, like our King Hiss and some other ones. And they made it work pretty good. Even Prince Adam's vest is tighter than that. But for some reason on this figure, they just gave it this big old fatty, big old mess. And then his helmet's removable. His head doesn't go back right. So I have spent lots of time revamping this figure many times over. And let me steal your... There we go. So here's an example of a Skeletor that I replaced his hood with the hood from the laser light one. And I've made his side skinny. Look at the difference between the fat one and the skinny one. Way cooler. So here is my skinny version of him. And then I was thinking, you know what? We have the laser light Skeletor, which is essentially almost the same figure, just a couple differences. So I went and I painted one to look more like the New Adventures. Just gave him some purple boots, and swapped out some parts, and I think it came out looking pretty cool. So again, it was a lot of purple paint, a lot of purple, but I think it's a great way to kind of give a New Adventures look to our laser light. And look at this. Let's light him up. See if he has batteries in him or not. Oh, dead batteries again. I got to do lots of battery replacements. I guess it's kind of lighting up just ever so slightly. That is sad. He needs some more batteries. And of course, because around it, I did a bunch of sanding on the bottom and painting too. So there we go. All right, lots of Skeletors. What are your preferred paints and glues? Dustin, that's a really good question. It's mostly about the clear coats afterwards. If you use some cheap paints, which I've used many times, you got to put a really good clear coat on. Otherwise, it ends up not adhering. Now, I found sometimes you got to first use a base, so I'll use a clear coat as a base to put it on there, and then I'll just grab those cheap poster type paints, that, you know, like the Apple Barrel or Craft Mart paints or whatever. But then you got to just coat it with a super thick clear coat to have it soak into that paint, and then it makes it much more permanent once you do that. So the trick is the painting. And you also want to take and mask around everything that you don't want painted, because if you get clear coat on the other parts, then it will make them all sticky. So the trick is, once you paint them, to coat everything else with lots of blue tape. And you can see the difference of how much changes I did between these two. Oops, my camera's aimed somewhere else. You can see the difference I did. Like, changed the loincloth out, changed out the legs, changed out well, the arm I guess I didn't. I guess I should have changed out the arm, but the coloring's different. I didn't even notice that. The color's slightly different. No! All this time, I never noticed that his legs are more blues or more turquoise. Wow. It doesn't look bad, though, with the loincloth in between there. So, there you go. There is. And his eyes should light up, too. But, again, because the batteries are just about dead in there. I haven't tried turning them on for a long time, so... So then I made one for somebody else, and the guy really wanted a Skeletor with the thin sides, and after I was all done making it and spending all the time, the guy's like, I don't want it anymore. So I decided to make one that looks more like the Skeletor with the big old boots from New Adventures. And so I put these on here, painted them purple to match, and they look pretty cool. So now I have my big boot Skeletor, which is like I think it was Discs of Doom Skeletor. All right, Discs of Doom Skeletor. Where is that hood? There it is. So then, as you know, I like 2000X. So this is my first attempt at a 2000X Skeletor. Whoop, whoop. And basically I used a Keldor, put on a custom head that was actually from Scareglow, and then took one of the hoods, put it on there, painted it to match. And it's Keldor's armor, so it matches his wrist cuffs. And then I used the swords from the original 2000X toy. And I thought it was an okay 2000X. The feet are custom too. To get a 2000X look. But I was not satisfied with this as my final 2000X. You should make a Disco Skeletor. That would be cool. I would love to make a Disco Skeletor. And so I went ahead and made another 2000X Skeletor I ended up selling, which was pretty cool. But this one was my next copy of him. And this is my 2000X Skeletor that I made. And he's much more 2000X looking. I stole the wrist cuffs from 2000X, the armor, the loincloth, and these are from, I don't know if it was Zodak or somebody else, I don't remember. And then I made sure the armor did not have the hole in it. The only way to make sure you get the armor out the hole is you have to buy the Skeletor that comes in the Battle Ram. It comes with a Skeletor and a Battle Ram chariot. And that's the one without the hole in the back from the 2000X line. Otherwise, you have holes in the back. And the cape is from Darth Vader. Darth Vader! And then I used the same kind of custom feet that I got from the Mutant from the Batman line. And there you go. And then, of course, I have my 2000X. Dun, dun, dun. Where is his sword? And there's the sword. It's not the sword, but it will work. It's the one that actually came with classics. Ho! Now, what makes this particular Skeletor really cool is he has an extra feature that I love. And check this out. Let me open up one of these little lights here. I haven't tried these particular lights inside the Skeletor to see if it works or not. So we will have fun. Usually I use a bigger light. This is bigger light first. Usually I use a bigger light like this and just shine it in the back. But I made a small little spot that's still clear. And I got the head cast in clear material. I didn't do it myself. But it makes his eyes light up. Oh, look at that. That's so cool. So I haven't tried the red light yet, so I'm going to try that today and see how it looks. Don't fall, Skeletor. So if you set up a light behind him, his eyes look like they're lit up, but really it's just the head is see-through. Thanks, Mike. So let's try this and see how it looks. That's just not bright enough. Oh, I didn't get it all the way on. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. The eyes are just too red. I like the orange better. See, orange give it more like a fiery type glow. Bum, 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 bum. So cool. Probably one of my favorite Skeletors, the one I spent the most work on. And it's actually why I went and bought another one of these, because this is the actual Mattel one. And I actually did make it out of the Filmation one, but I used the Super 7 from Filmation one. And I really disliked the hands on the Filmation Super 7 one. So that is why I bought another one. So I was going to make another 2000X Skeletor using this body instead of that body. So that is why I have this. Another Super 7, or not Super 7, but a Mattel version of it. All right, I will put him front and center because he's really cool. All right, this is a pretty quick one. I just basically pulled parts off of Super 7, or the other one is stuck it on a He-Man body. As you can see, or not He-Man, Skeletor. As you can see, it's actually a classic Skeletor body because it has the arms. But I just swapped out the boots, swapped out the loincloth, and just did a whole body swap. I just liked the aesthetic better of the original figure instead of the Filmation one. I know they're really, really similar, but there was enough of a difference that I wanted to use the regular Skeletor body. With I don't remember if I got it from Super 7 or I got it from Mattel, taking the parts from it. You know what? The blue's lighter color, so this was actually from a Super 7 figure. It's probably from this figure here. I probably stole the parts from that one and put it on him. That's funny. All right. What makes this figure special? I'm trying to think. What did I do to this guy? Still doesn't work. They all need batteries. I don't know. Oh, I know what's different. This one has the helmet and this one has the hood. You're like, that's it? That's it, Todd? You did all that just to have one of a helmet, one of a hood? Yes. Yes, I did. Oh, that's right. He's supposed to go with the hood normally. And I just threw a helmet on him. So he's kind of like halfway in between my custom one back here. But without the purple paint. Just the helmet. That's funny. I know, kind of a waste of a custom. But I had a bunch of extra Skeletors like that because I bought a bunch of 2-packs for the He-Man figures. All right. Next we got Keldor. And Keldor was a pretty fun figure. Except for, as you guys know, I did not like the fact that he was blue. And I know that in the 2000X cartoon, they made him blue. They said he was Gar and everything else. But I believe if they were going to make Keldor back in the 80s, they would have made him more like this. The same color as King Randor. And so, in my canon, this is what Keldor actually looks like. So, I know. Everyone says he looks like that. But... And then, of course, I made a Battle Armor Keldor in the blue, which is actually a Faker body. So I can actually replace the head with Faker if I want to, and make a Faker Battle Armor with purple. All right, let's talk about the Apprentice. Now, we know that in some of the storylines, Skeletor is the apprentice of Hordak. And so Hordak was kind of like his master, if you will. Dun, dun, dun. Kind of like the whole Ben Kenobi type thing, except for a bad guy. So here's a really quick one. I just basically took a Hordak body, I believe, and stuck on a skull on it and called him Apprentice Skeletor. Apprentice Skeletor! Now, of course, you can grab one of these and stick it on there, but I don't think Skeletor would have used one of those, but sure, whatever. So, and it took a lot of sanding to get the skull to fit inside of there, but there you go. I decided to take it a step further and make him a little more cool looking. So here is my little more cool looking version of my Apprentice Skeletor, and I decided to give him the all red and black treatment, and way cooler. Now, this armor is not actually Hordak's armor. That armor is actually... where did I stick him? I already pulled him out of his box. It's actually one of the WWE figures that I just painted red. So, there you go. There is my Apprentice Hordak Skeletor. Blood red Skeletor, ready to fight. And I think he's pretty cool looking. Pretty cool. We only got one Hordak. I mean Skeletor. Did I say Hordak? Or did I say Skeletor? Anyway, blood red Skeletor. Hordak Apprentice. One more Skeletor left to show. And that is my newest battle armor Skeletor, or I stole the parts from the new Masterverse. There he is. Bum, bum, bum. Pretty cool looking. And I think that is it. Thanks, Mike. Yep, the black and red was pretty cool. Wow, that is one heck of a lot of Skeletors. What's even more scary is this is not all of them. This is just the ones on in this one box. Why the heck is his head in there? I have no idea why his head's in this box. Weird. Actually, I do have my main Skeletor I didn't even pull out. I have my main Skeletor in my main box too, which I didn't even bring out to show you guys. Apprentice Eternity Edition. You're fired. Nice. Yep, we'll have to make a figure that looks like Trump to fire people. You know, I really like how this turned out. That is so cool. I love that it's on a Classics body. That just makes it all the more coolness. I know, the body he came with was not that bad. It wasn't that bad. You know, I just kind of like... Oh, there we go. At least he has a head now. He's wearing a blue bodysuit. All right. Hey, commentator, thanks for joining us. Hey, Don88, thanks for being here. Keldor face swap. Yeah, so you guys are probably wondering, well, wait a minute, how could Keldor be Caucasian? Oop, 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 oop. Oh, there goes the Don. Oh, off the end. And, well, so here's the interesting way to kind of put this, right? I like to pretend that Keldor started out like this, and then as time went on, either magic slowly turned him blue, or because he's zombified, his skin is just blue because there's no oxygen going to it, because he is technically a you know, half-dead creature. So I guess in a way Skeletor is a zombie, but not really a zombie, just a reanimated type of character, which is why he has a skull for a head, right? So that always made sense to me, why he was blue. If you take a look at people that are no longer with us, and when they find them sometimes from lack of oxygen, they'll turn blue. So that's kind of my idea, is that it's dead flesh rotting. That's why he has green around his skull sometimes, is because it is just the dead flesh rotting around his head, which I know is pretty gruesome if you think about it. But there you go. There you go. Now you know the storyline. Either magic slowly changed him blue, or it's because he's dead, or a mixture of both. But originally Caucasian, turned blue. There's also another storyline where he was never a human whatsoever and was always a skull-faced demon-type creature, which he came from another dimension and has a whole bunch of other Skeletor brothers that all look the same that he wants to free, which I can see why they did that. They wanted to sell a bunch of figures, and they only had 8 of them out at the time. So, you know, 2 Tilas, a bunch of Skeletors, whatever you need to make your storylines work. And so that way kids would buy more of the same figure and up the profits. So, and if you look at that first comic, you will see that all the Skeletors escaping through the dimensional portal. Which is your favorite? So my favorite custom is my 2000X with the light up eyes. I spent the most time on him. He took the longest to produce, but he's not my go-to Skeletor. See, because the light up eyes are just so cool. I love that feature. But my go-to Skeletor is actually not in this pile right here. I actually have him in a different box. Let me pull them out. Oh, he's buried. Hold on. Ugh. Oh, it's really buried. It's going to take me a minute to get him out. I have to get past the He-Man box. The He-Man box! Here he is. Here is my go-to Skeletor. And he is the Super 7 one that has the arms like the original, the feet like the original. He has the cape that goes over the top. And I created his own battle axe for him too. Let's see if I can find his battle axe. There it is. And I made this battle axe out of Evil Lynn's wand and the battle axe that came with the battle armor Skeletor. And I just melted it on top after I cut it off. And I just love how it looks with the green. It's just so cool. And then, of course, he has the sword that is from the 2000X. And this is my go-to. And he has the head from the original comic. And so this is my one. So whenever I'm pulling out figures to do a photo shoot, this is usually the one that I grab. Because he's just so cool. Let's do the battle axe. Look at that cool battle. It's so easy to make too. I just basically drilled a hole in the bottom of it to cut it off and used a Dremel bit, and it got it super hot. And while it was hot, I just stuck it on there and melted it right in place. And it's just Evil Lynn's end of her wand from the weapons pack. And it looks cool. He also has the more open hand, which I know is kind of weird because you can't hold a lot of stuff with it. You can put his staff in it though, but his staff sits kind of low in there. Whoop. But I do use the staff from the faceless one. That way then he has the red on top. So there you go. Go to Skeletor. Thanks for asking. The Alcala head, yes. Yes, Skeletor does smell with all the rotten flesh. All right, so there you go. There's all except for just a couple that are in other boxes, but that's the majority of them. Let's see, any other questions? Maybe you planned on painting the face blue. Maybe so. All right, still, this guy is pretty cool. I used to make battle armor versions of him for the 80s figures all the time. It's funny, his head is just held on with a bunch of O-rings and heat shrink tubing. If I can get it out of there. I probably shouldn't even try. I'll just put it back on before I mess it up. And he's from the Demos figure from the 80s. And I just cut around his head to make it fit onto a Classics. Had to repaint his hair though to match because his hair had a bunch of bald spots because I bought him as a used figure. So there we go. That is a lot of bone faces. And one of them fell over the edge. Way down there in the hole. I have to go down and get him now. Oop, oop. I'm dropping other guys. All right. Well, thanks for joining me. And now I got to do the task of putting all these guys back. He is so cool. I'm so glad Super 7 actually gave us this figure. Because I was so annoyed they gave us the one with the black on it. I have a video on how to fix the black marks that you get from the chain of the of the. You know what? Where is he? Here he is. I had to replace the chains with this elastic material because those chains would rub on the shoulder and just rip off the paint up there. Yep, most of the marks that are causing these figures are from the chains when they're packaged in the box. Just rubbing across that figure, scratching it up. So annoying. Why, Mattel? Why the fat figures? Why the black plastic? Why the reversed forearms on Stinkor? All these little things that bother people. All right, stand, man, stand. Get in your box. I know what's wrong. I got his cape on him. I can't pack him away in the box. This cape on him. It's funny. One of the arguments for years was this was actually Skeletor. The arguments was this is supposed to be the ghost of Skeletor from the future, not actually Skeletor's ghost. That's like his army man or his minion. So people used to always think that this was the ghost of Skeletor because it said on the box that it was Skeletor's ghost or something like that, or in the comic, but it meant that it's his ghost, not that it's him as a ghost. So it's like saying it's his tiger or it's his beast man or it's, you know. So there was a lot of confusion about this guy for quite a while. All right, let's put the lid on this one. Lid's on. Once I get my new Masterverse Evelyn, I'm definitely doing a whole entire video on all the Evelyn figures. That's gonna be fun. That Masterverse Evelyn looks so cool. I cannot wait to get her. Yep, please like, subscribe. How do you store your figures? That's a good question. Let me go ahead and kind of show you my box here if I can. So I have this big old box. I'll stick it on my lap so you guys can see it. And I have a whole entire video on it. And basically, I store the figures in this box. So, see, he goes in this hole. And I know that because inside here I got different heads for him. I even got the original head. I got the 80s head. And I figure if he has power and dominion over fire, I gave him the fire whip too. Fire whip! Actually, I really dislike this one here. This is the battle axe they gave us for Skeletor. I don't like how tall it is. I like mine that actually fits the radius of the battle axe instead of being super high up. It's kind of rubbery too. But hey, I found the other claw. All right. Oh, look, I found the toothless head too. There's the Molar Skeletor. Molar. So yes, this is the way I store my figures. And I have a whole bunch of mini Skeletors too. Oh, so I can do that one scene with the Skeletors everywhere. So, all right. See, they just fit right in there. Chink. Just like that. And that is how I store them all. Now I got to figure out where everybody goes. It's funny, the squares are not all the same size. If you want just search my videos on storage units, and I'll show you step by step how to make one of these. It's pretty handy. Oh, that's right. I forgot about this helmet. I don't even know where this came from. I'm guessing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But I like to stick it on this guy here with the big feet. Oh, look at that. Dun 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 dun. Shogun Skeletor. Dun 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 dun. Yeah. It does look pretty cool. Shogun, yes. Where is Terror Claws? He is back there in the corner. Just chilling. Chilling with all the villains. Alright. Thanks for watching. I'm going to start putting all these guys away. And that is all that I got for today. And I will see you guys next video. See, I've been talking so long. My TV just shut off on me. See, it just went black. That's when you know the video is supposed to be over. Oh, another sword. These swords are pretty cool too. Where is that guy? Gotta put his claw back on so I don't lose it later. Why did they make him a different color anyway? What was Mattel thinking? I mean, is it really supposed to be suntan Skeletor? Like we have that one, Flying Fist He-Man. Looks like he's jaundice, not jaundice, but just super white. So weird. All right, bye now.